really jump into really what we hear about, can we just have what's it called? An appendix or a foreword to the podcast. The Memphis Grizzlies are the most annoying team in the league in all of professional sports.
Low-key, that might be the most like hated team. I feel like I've never heard anyone speak good about that team in the past couple of years. They on some different stuff entirely.
They haven't won anything.
No, they haven't. I mean, they got the talent though, man. We can't say they don't have the talent on the team though. I mean,
I got some. What I said, I never said they don't have talent. They're like the perfect. Like they're the perfect like analogy for instant gratification generation that we're in, where it's like I'm good, so you guys you guys owe me respect, but they haven't won anything. I mean, Ja is an amazing athlete. I cannot deny that, but he does this whole like fake tough guy thing on the court, and then off the court, if something goes left, he's the first one. And Dylan Brooks pouting about maybe a missed call or. You remember last year when he got hurt in the playoffs talking about dirty play. I mean, they are literally just like high school punks.
You know what's funny though? Huh. If you go back though, I'm trying to think with that Randolph team. That team was tough though.
Okay, I'm so glad you brought that.
That's a different team entirely though.
No, it is. It is.
No, hey, no, look, they've tried to embody, the Zach Randolph spirit. Zach Randolph didn't win anything. No, he was an amazing player, and we love his toughness, but he didn't win a championship. So they all trying to like embody this Zebo mentality. Zebo played hard on the court and won games also. Like he wasn't out here talking trash. He wasn't out here like he was really about that. And
no, he was talking trash.
He was talking. Hey, hold on. He backed it up. Dylan Brooks.
Time out. I need to establish something really quickly. Are we using a championship ring as a barometer for just like how do I like to qualify a player's I don't know goodness or how great they are? Because there's a lot of great talent out there that hasn't won, and I gotta
decade,
they're not talking crazy. Like that's one of the reasons why I have an issue with. So to answer your question, that's one of the reasons why I have an issue with Chris Paul. He does so much talking and his he does a lot of passive aggressive shit on the court. And it's like, bro, win a championship before you start having this attitude. Like Carmelo Anthony doesn't do that. And he of all the people who doesn't have a ring has the most right to be like that,
I feel that, man. I got into a heated argument one time with a customer before I moved out of Oakland when I was bar backing at room 389 over if Chris Paul I don't know was like an all-time great or something, and he misconstrued our words so bad because I wasn't saying anything about his on-court performance, like if he was good or bad. I was just like, man, like as a Golden State Warriors fan,
right?
Like I just don't like dude, like sure, I can see his talent, but ever since Steph, grew up in front of our eyes and had him touching the floor that one year, I don't know, 2015 or something like that.
Yeah,
I was just like, man, I don't know, Chris Paul, he do a lot of this.
He does a lot of talking.
But not a lot of that.
That Clippers team, man, you bring him back with the Warriors. That was the rivalry right there. Yeah, that definitely was.
Mm-hmm. So
no, they didn't.
So we've alluded to it a few times. Let's jump in. I've done a horrible job at leading into the podcast, but I'm sitting here with Gerald and Carrison. I went to high school with you guys, and I was trying to think for leading up to our recording, like, what was our bonding thing, right? And I think G, like you and I have been tight since day one of high school. I think that if you look at like our methodologies at life, we don't really have a lot of commonalities except for I think that we value the same things within people. I think a really, really big moment in my high school life with you, G. I remember there was a kid who maybe was socially a little awkward, maybe on the spectrum. And I think I made a joke. It wasn't anything mean, but I think I made a comment about, why is he being weird or something like that. And I remember you just checking me and just really being like, dude, he's not bothering anybody. He's really just trying to be a nice kid. he's literally just saying hi to everybody. What I think you need to chill. And I think that really had a really resonating impact on my life. So I think, your love for human beings and then our love for sports is like what's kind of kept us together throughout the years. And then jumping to Kerrison. Kerrison was a few years. What were you? Were we juniors when you were a freshman?
No, I think y'all were seniors, to be honest.
Damn, I was kicking it for a freshman.
Yay!
Really?
Crazy.
Yeah, I think so, man. I think so.
And that whole 1 year, God.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Man, that 1 year was dope. I needed that year.
So, and then the way that Kerrison and I were introduced in high school was we had a counselor,
Shout out Ting Su.
Miss Ting Su. I'll never forget her. Still thinking about her to this day for academic reasons. And I remember I used to get a lot of counseling from her for like college advice and navigating high school and whatnot. And she said, Ox, I think there's a young man that you can mentor. And we went to high school with like 10 Black people, right, out of 800. So for her to be like, I think that Kerrison could really value your mentorship. I got offended at first. I was like, who? Oh, because he's Black, he would appreciate my words. And I didn't like you at first. I thought you were a Devin Brown 2.0. Trying to copy his whole steez, and turn to find out this dude is hella cold. Like, and I think we bonded pretty quickly, despite me not wanting to like you. And then another thing, again, our bonding thing between us was sports, right? We both played. We all three of us played sports at Piedmont, but on top of that, I think that our love for the Bay Area sports has kept us at least shit talking throughout the year. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. We just learned as of, was it 4/23, 2023, that the Oakland A's will be leaving Oakland. And that's really the last Oakland sports team. We went from literally having 3 teams to none our whole childhood, right? We had the Golden State Warriors, who played at Oracle Arena, fire home games. And then we had the Oakland Raiders, who have toyed around with our emotions. Probably the reason why I have trust issues in my relationships with people is my love for the Oakland Raiders. And, I think all of us kind of encapsulate a lot of different areas of the East Bay, right? Like you, Kerrison, born and raised in the Piedmont area for most of your life. I was in East Oakland, and then I moved to Piedmont. And then Gerald, you were on the,
Richmond and all over, man. Born in Richmond and got to experience all over the Bay Area, which is nice.
So let's talk about that, because Kerrison, you're in LA now. G, you're still back in the Bay, and I'm in San Diego now. But all of us still, I think, share a huge love for Bay Area sports. Just like, when you hear the last Oakland team leaving, what are the emotions and what are the feelings that come about?
For me, man, I was hurt. It was like the first sporting event, man. I want to say back in '99, the first like ever sporting event I got to go to was an Oakland A's game. And at that time, I mean, they were actually pretty decent. So I think hurt, but I think also when you get older, right, you start understanding the logistics of sports and how things work. And on the business side, I think everybody kind of forgets about the business side of sports because we're so emotionally invested. But I was hurt. Your boy was hurt. I mean, ain't nothing else. We might possibly get a WNBA team, but that's not really for sure right now. So right now it's looking like it's the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know. The first gut, reaction, first thing that comes up is just like, dang, like it's like the town is just different. It's just mad different now. I remember back when that first Whole Foods came up, and I was like, I just felt that's the epitome. We lost the A's, we lost the Raiders twice, we lost the Warriors, and they're just changing what the town looks like, kicking people out, and I just feel like it's just kind of I don't know, like a metaphor or like it's just, it coincides with each other. But regarding just like sports and I don't know, like the feeling, the environment, man. It's nothing like it. Like it's nothing like it. Going to either A's game, Raiders game, or the Warriors back when they was in the town. Is no feeling like it. I'd imagine maybe some of these Kings fans who aren't Bay Area transplants are feeling that for the first time. With game 1 and 2, but just like pure joy. Like joy, a real feeling of a community, as long as you were in the right colors to the sporting event. But yeah, man, I think Ox, to be honest, I think you and I, or I think you took me to one of the, not the first, but you definitely took me to one of my first Raider games, and that was crazy. Just incredible experience. I think we went to the game where Woodson finally got a INT against Payne Manning.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. It's just crazy to think that we went from three major sporting teams to none. So hopefully, I don't even know. I know we got the roots right now. I honestly haven't been to a game yet.
Yeah.
But it's sad, honestly. Both my parents moved to Oakland way back when from the East Coast. And I specifically remember my mom like talking all about being able to go to A's games, being able to go to Raider games or Warriors games, and just chop it up. She didn't know nobody out here, but she would go. She would have a great time, meet a bunch of people, have fun. It was affordable,
Affordable. I mean, I remember growing up, my grandma used to take me to A's games all the time because my grandma would have to watch me while mom and dad were at work. And that was a bonding thing for me and my grandma. Yeah, we would literally sit probably higher than what the birds fly, way back up in on Mount Davis. But I remember when like you shop at Ross or J.C. Penney, and it's like if you spend $50, you get a free ticket voucher to a Warriors or an A's game, right? I never really went to Raiders games growing up until like maybe high school because of how expensive they always were. But there was this huge like pride, and I think that's a bonding thing amongst people that I went to high school with and grew up with is, our, I guess, trauma bonding of we never won, but then, to the effect of we were talking about earlier with the Grizzlies, that first Warriors team that made the playoffs, the We Believe years. I mean, what that did for the city was crazy. A city in which I think we celebrated dropping from number 1 to number 2 on the murder city capital. I mean, to that point, that was the only thing we celebrated as a citywide was dropping from number 1 to number 2. Shout out to Detroit for taking us out of the number 1 spot. But yeah, like that We Believe years with Steven Jackson.
What was that year? That was what, 2007?
Yeah.
07? Yeah. I mean, that was
like winning a championship for us, beating the eight.
It's crazy if you think, because I'm trying to think at that time. I know for sure Niners were not good because we just drafted Alex Smith in 05 and we were having rough. I know you guys weren't good during that time either. And I think at that time the A's had just traded Barry Zito and that whole cast of crew that they had. So like, I think the Warriors was the only team at the time that you could really root for, who you knew kind of had a decent chance of doing something, which they end up doing. Like you said, it was electric, man. Like that stadium at that time was crazy.
But like win or lose, the stadium was always like pretty live. And that's the thing.
It was always,
outside of the Bay Area don't really understand is like Oakland basketball fans, like it was, again, a very diverse crowd, right? We had everybody in there, but it was like real basketball fans. And we would always show out. And that's the thing. Like I haven't been to a new Warriors game at the Chase Center. Have either of you been yet?
No.
I have. I actually went for my birthday.
Okay.
Was it last year? I think against Toronto. I'll tell you this. The outside of the stadium, the exterior part is amazing, man.
Okay.
It's incredible. The interior is cool, man. I don't know. I guess I'm just biased, man. When they left, I hated it. So I think for me in general, when I went there, like I didn't really have any expectations, but I also just had like this like anger, like, man, you guys are here in the city now.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have the same feel. The people up in there is definitely different because I mean, let's be real. At Oracle, it's basically Filipino, Black, and Latino people. Let's be real.
Because Oracle is in the deep east, like murder, like flats of Oakland, not the best area. There was a great chance your car was gonna get broken into after the game. So you was hoping at least to see a win before you got out to see your car was smashed in. I mean, that's not something that's not the part you miss, but it's just like parking at the BART parking lot right before they shut down and got it all corporate, tailgating out there with all the folks. And like you could walk up anywhere, get a beer or a hot dog from people, share a swig, if you needed some papers, I heard, if you needed some papers, you could get that. I mean, it was a community, and you lost it
right, though.
when you go to San Francisco.
Oh yeah, because the fans aren't the same. I mean, it isn't that bond. I don't think like you said, I don't think there's a lot of basketball fans in general who are going to the game. I think they're just going because it's a nice thing, nice thing to do. So I think they've kind of lost. They were saying that this past game, man, with the crowd and just everything, and Steph trying to hype them up to get really loud because it's not the same. It's just not the same
They're not
energy they have up in there. So
like back at Oracle when it was in Oakland, the Warriors games, I mean, fans are going crazy off of a move, right? Like off a cross, not even taking the shot. And now it's like we're making a comeback, or we overtook the lead, and the crowd. It sounds like Have you been to I've been to the Lakers game before. The Laker games are silent. It's like they're watching the Nutcracker. It is like
I've been to Laker game, man, a long time ago. Actually, when they played the Warriors, it was really cool, man. Yeah. And I think for them, it's just a spectacle, man. It's like you said, it's Hollywood. Like they have the main lights on the court. That's the main focus. It's dark in the stands, and it's really cool. It's a cool experience. I mean, it was a dope experience to have, but it's a definitely different feel compared to like going to a Warriors game for sure.
Hey,
also, going to
My bad. You go.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, just as the Kings, I've been to the new King Stadium, which is also really nice. But to me, it feels like it's got more of a college feel than anything, than more of an NBA feel. But that's just my personal opinion, though. But
all right, I got two questions for you, G. One, did they win the game when you went to Chase Center against?
No, they didn't.
Damn, that's crazy.
But the fans were cool, though. I thought there would be a lot of hecklers. They weren't. They were hella chill and shit like that, which was really dope because I didn't know what to suspect, kind of from the LA crowd. But they were really cool. But yeah, they didn't win. Nah.
Yeah, I went to Warriors against the Clippers on Valentine's Day with my girl, and let me tell you, I mean, like we lost, but that was dope. Like it was a cool experience. I will say to the atmosphere, it definitely feels more of like just like something to do. Like it's not like electric. But I gotta give a shout out to Staples Center because there's like no bad seat in that.
No, there isn't.
It's real nice. I hope our new stadium is like that in SF, but I don't know if I'm a.
Nah, man, you get too steep at the top, boy. It's cold.
Yeah. So growing up, we've always been A's fans. The A's, the Coliseum. I don't think anybody's gonna deny the Coliseum is like the worst in all the sports for football and baseball. For a while, you had the Raiders playing on the diamond dirt. I think we're the last team to have playing on football on dirt. But what did y'all think? Like Moneyball, like how do y'all feel about the movie Moneyball? The movie about Billy Bean in the A's, because that's a tough situation too that we had to deal with as fans our entire lives.
It was a good movie, man. I like overall, just talking as a movie. I don't like the Moneyball concept thing, man. I don't like it at all. Just because when you start talking about that, you start talking about small markets, and I think the problem with that comes into play. Has Oakland ever been a small market? Like, what type of market is it really? Yeah, in a sense. And to me, I think it's always kind of been a medium to kind of high market. I mean, you want to go back in history, right? Let's just go back to the 70s. That 70s A's team is a dynasty. They had like Catfish Hunter, they had Reggie Jackson, they had Vita Blue. They won multiple championships. But these guys we're talking about weren't. Yeah, you had to spend money, right? These guys ain't making what these players are making today.
Right.
Then you flash forward to the 80s, we had the Bass Bros, you got Mark McGuire, you got
Right.
Seiko, you got other players. Those dudes not making any money. And then not even that, if I'm not mistaken, the attendance at that time throughout those decades, we're in top 5. So, what happens from there,
Mhm.
you get to the 2000s, you got that, Tejada Chavez team. They were pretty good. They couldn't get past the wild card in the first round. But they were still pretty decent. But
Pitching was
then
phenomenal then.
it was, and then everybody started to get traded, and then this new concept came into play.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, okay, well, let's see how it works. Then you start realizing, man, we getting rid of everybody.
Was it? I remember I think it was the last year I really cared about baseball, but I think we got rid of who was the young dude? Oh man, but it was like I just remember we traded 2 dudes probably like 6 years ago, and they both won the NL and AL, or were like in the lead for the AL NL MVP, and we had just had them both on our team the year before.
I think Josh Donaldson is one.
Josh Donaldson was one, and then was it the Dominican dude?
Jonas.
Jonas. I swear to God, it wasn't the season that they both almost won in their respective divisions.
Josh Donaldson won. I mean, I think Jonas definitely. No, I think he was home run champion during that year or something like that.
What I'm saying is, like it's like we had these players on our team, like, and it's like, I remember, So the whole thing with Moneyball, it feels like a Memphis Grizzlies. I'm going to use a Memphis Grizzlies as a slur for the rest of this podcast. It feels like a Memphis Grizzlies-ism where we didn't win. What are we making a movie about? There's only so many baseball movies ever made. What the hell is Moneyball being made for? We didn't win that year.
I mean, the concept though, right?
Scott Hatterberg was
of taking these players who, what were they going off, like certain stats, and shit like that.
On base percentage,
and some other things, and then these contracts.
I understand the concept, and then low cost and saving money and get rid of players before they before they gas out, but we didn't win. So I don't understand the glorification of that concept if we didn't win.
I mean, that team, did they make it to the playoffs twice, right?
Terrence Long struck out. I remember that season. Terrence Long struck out looking at
pitch. Yeah, I was at one of those games, Boston. Dude. I
was at Derek Jeter's game. I hate that's his master highlight. Me and my brother, he was like, to send me back to Africa. My brother's actually African. This is not a. Yeah, we was at the playoff game when Derek Jeter decides, and then Jeremy Giambi decided not to slide. So, like, as an Oakland fan, we've been through a lot of bullshit.
They also, though, we got to remember, they won 21 straight games. I mean, that was also the biggest thing.
Yeah, we didn't. I was there. I remember. So here's another dynamic that people don't understand outside the Bay Area. So, G, you are a 49er fan.
Yeah.
Classically, Oakland versus San Francisco. There's this little brother, big brother kind of like rivalries, kind of like LA and Oakland, or LA and the Bay Area. But you have people that are riding with the Raiders, win or lose. And then you have some people that jumped over to San Francisco because the Raiders had left Oakland, right? And then you have that extra rivalry where you have Niner fans living in the East Bay. So what went into your determining factor of becoming a Niner fan and plaguing yourself with that franchise that has 6 rings?
So it's funny. So my household has always been split. My dad's always been a Raider fan. My mom's always been a Niner fan. So kind of growing up, I had the mixture of both. The funny thing is, man, my first football game, I went to a Raiders game with my dad. Took me, and they played the Pittsburgh Steelers that game.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna lie, I had a hell of a time, man.
Yeah.
For me, it was just watching football, getting to see football, getting a part of being like the experience. Raider fans are fucking insane. They're crazy.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen. Like, it's the unknown when you go to a Raider game.
Yeah.
That brings the excitement. So it was actually my first game, man. But the Niners history, man, I think just like the prestige, you think of certain players. I was a big Jerry Rice fan. big TO fan. And I'm not gonna lie, I love the color red. So it kind of just played being young. Oh man, got a red team.
Yeah.
Got these certain players that are really good that I like in these positions. So I kind of just fell in love and went that way. But I always had a respect for the Raiders just because of my dad and talking sports and talking football. So for me, growing up as a fan, man, because my brother's a Raider fan. So there's never been any like personal hate. I've always had respect for the team. And when it comes to play each other, for me, it's just like, who's the best. That's kind of when the rivalry comes in. You get a little shit talking going on. But yeah, that's kind of how I became an Niners fan, man. My mom's kind of put them on me. So yeah.
The Raiders and Niners were banned from playing preseason football games because of all the fighting that would happen in the stands. That Karrison, how did you end up becoming a Raider fan? What made you choose them to play your happiness?
It's from my dad. My pops moved from the East Coast to the Bay, specifically to Oakland. Unfortunately, the same fucking year the Raiders left to LA.
Yeah.
So I guess kind of like I have both in my household a little bit because my dad was a little bit spiteful of that. So we kind of watched some Niner games, and it wasn't too hard to watch those games for him speaking because they had Rice and all them two Hall of Fame quarterbacks. So it was kind of easy for him. But I grew up watching both. The first game I ever watched growing up was the fucking Tuck Rule, believe it or not. So
that's the first game you ever watched.
First professional football game I ever watched was the Tuck Rule.
Hey, I didn't
know exactly where I was. I was at my boy's house.
Yeah,
our parents were there. We were having some little play date, and I don't know. I remember my dad just being crazy animated. My dad's normally super cool, even keel, all that stuff, and I just see him like cursing, screaming, face bright red, all that. And then, I guess that's just kind of where it started. So I kept on watching it. I got older, learned the game.
Like you had a chance to be out, and you chose that as.
Hey man,
you like being hurt.
Nah, ain't nothing like that. It ain't nothing like that. But I mean, if your pops is a Raider fan, if your uncle is a Raider fan, if the people that you're with when you're young are Raider fans, it's kind of that's just kind of where you fall in line. Plus, I mean, going to Raider games is nothing like it. When you get off BART, and you cross that little bridge and you just screaming Raiders.
Bro, did you
like that?
Did you buy? We went to the game together. Did you buy a Terrell Pryor jersey off someone's back?
Absolutely.
Shit.
Absolutely. My favorite jersey. I'm still pissed at how his career played out. I was hyped. When we got him.
The Raiders organization.
We got TP off the what is it? The supplemental draft or something. It wasn't
the confirmation. The supplemental draft. Yeah,
bro, that's huge. And
you saw he went to become a Pro Bowl wide receiver for a minute. Like he was putting up numbers as a wide receiver too.
Hey, I don't know. He was, but I don't know if he still holds the record. But at one point, he held the record for the longest run in NFL history at like 98 yards. It was a QB read option at the goal line. He took off.
I think Daniel Jones. I think someone tied his record. I think it might
98, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah. No.
Crazy.
Yeah. It just.
But I like. I'm not gonna lie though. Like, my household, meaning my pops and myself, we support the Raiders like 100%. But we also, we tap into the Niners. It's not really like that strong of a divide in my family. It's not like one or the other.
Okay.
And then one thing also is that man, I don't know about y'all, but it was kind of annoying, relatively difficult for me and my family to like, I don't know, listen to local sports radio, specifically 95.7 The Game. They never talk about us, bro. Never. So it's just kind of like, you live in the Bay, you kind of have to be tapped in to the other side's sports teams, like just because that's what they feed you, you know.
Right.
And then them, it's been a lot of dark years as a Raider fan, you know. So sometimes you just gotta watch. Sometimes you low key just want to watch some winning some winning football.
No, for sure. I mean, because like for the Raider fan, except for this coming season, every off season is our year. I don't know, like I remember when we got Aaron Brooks and Randy Moss. I was already talking shit. I actually stopped buying Raider jerseys because every player's jersey I got in the offseason, they ended up folding the next season and playing awfully or getting traded or getting cut. So I thought that it was my fault for a long time. And so I stopped buying the jerseys. But I mean, look, like all three teams literally play in the same area. And I remember like early on, maybe this might have been too young for you, Harrison, but like there was like Coliseum burgers. You remember, Gerald? They had like parking in the BART parking lot, walking over, you know, that the walkway bridge, just all the fucking camaraderie from amongst people you've never seen before in your life, right? All across the Bay Area. Everybody stopping at this one little burger joint, Coliseum dog, or they started doing the little street hot dogs on the sides, buying, you know, merch off that bridge. I mean, it's just an experience that I guess I'm really happy I got to experience. It's just unfortunate, man. Like that was the town. That was what it was like growing up in the Bay, and it's over now. I guess good for these players who get better facilities now. You know, they don't have to pay for their own food and drinks or whatever in the stadiums. But you know, it's a shame for the city, dude, because the city invested a lot of money in keeping these teams here, paying for the stadium rebuilds, and I mean, it just shows how greedy the owners are too, and how little they actually care. You just see, what was the article you shared, Carson? Talk about that, about Mark Davis?
Yeah, you know, on Bleacher Report, he just had nothing good to say about the A's organization, and I mean, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I can't really hate on it too much, because it was talking about how much the A's really played a part in the Raiders leaving for Vegas. I don't remember the specifics too much, but I know that
really.
Because Davis wanted to build or renovate the stadium. But you know, it's shared obviously, and the A's signed like a 10 or 12 year long lease, so they were like the master tenants or something like that.
Wow.
And I don't know, like they just weren't willing to work with the Raiders or with Mark Davis, and Mark was just like, how do we stay in Oakland? How do we do this? How do we do that? You know? And you know, I don't know the specifics, but I do know that the A's just weren't willing to work with Mark. But I mean, I don't know, it's whatever, man. But you know, like it's I don't know, it's they're gone, which is the awful thing about it. You know, just like you were saying, all three of these teams were in the same parking lot. You know, you parked at the same spot for all of them. All the A's and the Raiders played in the same stadium. The Warriors were next door, like couple hundred yards away. You know, and it's just sad. And
could you say though that was going to be the demise though? Because I mean, I think a lot of things, right? There was only a few at the time, a lot conjoint like still football, baseball stadiums that they still had teams still playing in the same place. But at some point, you knew that was going to have to end. I mean, when we think about it, right? Warriors, all right, they went on this run in the mid 2010s or whatnot. Was able to win a few championships, and then was able to get KD, which really, I mean, if we really going to talk about it, is the reason why they moved to San Francisco is because of him. So,
you think so?
Oh, I believe so. Yeah, I mean, you get a star player like that, right? You're not going to keep playing in Oakland. You're going to go somewhere. That's where we keep talking about the market, right? You're going to go somewhere where you can advertise.
I don't know if I agree
stadium.
With that. I don't know if I agree with that. I think that when Joe Lacob took over, I think that's when the talks turned into how do we renovate or where do we move to within the Bay Area. I don't
think they're ever going to renovate. I don't think they're ever going to renovate.
But
I think the plan was always going to go back to San Francisco. I mean, they was there once before.
They needed to get a star to help build that like momentum.
That's right.
Over to San Francisco. Yeah.
I remember when Joe bought the team. I remember my dad getting pissed off because he bought the team, and then my pops was telling me, well, like the days in Oakland are numbered because Joe like apparently he openly stated wanting to move back to San Francisco.
Okay.
Like that was always the goal apparently.
Okay.
But also
course, yeah.
on that note, I learned about how when back when the Warriors were playing in all these different kind of cities, from SF to like I think they played in San Jose for a little bit too. And they settled in Oakland, but they were gonna change their name too, because they were the San Francisco Warriors, and then the whole Golden State thing came about. But that came about because the owner at the time didn't want to be too strongly affiliated with the town because he thought it was bad for business.
Oakland.
Like they were going to be known as the Oakland Warriors, and then the owner was like, "No, we can't do that." So that's why they came up with this whole Golden State, I don't know, marketing thing. And
hey, I'm a East Oakland Warrior fan. Okay, that's the team that I grew up watching, and that's the team that I to this day I still know them as. I think that. So I have two more questions before we wrap up. I know we coming up on time, but earlier you talked about a WNBA team might move into Oakland. When I moved to San Diego, there was a professional women's team that just expanded, and they were the San Diego Waves, and they were playing at USD Stadium. Like, dude, like I could throw a rock at the stadium. How close I live there, and so I was like, ironically as a joke, I was like, shit, I don't have any other affiliations down here. Let me go ahead and start. And it was rocking. Like I'm hooked. I am a San Diego Waves fan. I have so much fan memorabilia. Like it's fun to jump on board to a team before they like blow up, right? Because I'm not a wagon. That's something that's in our DNA. We're not gonna hop on a team that's good, for the sake of it. So that leads me to my actual question. When the A's eventually leave, are you, do you guys shift over to the Giants? And since you're down in LA, are you gonna become an LA baseball fan, or how do your allegiances shift now that the teams have left our hometowns?
I'm not, man. Like I said, I think it comes back to, I said, the business part, man. We've seen a lot of teams move before. The A's was once in Philadelphia, started Philadelphia, moved to Kansas City, moved from Kansas City to Oakland, been in Oakland for the past like 60 years or whatnot. Now they're about to move again. I'm not going to say they're going to move again. I've read an article said there's a slight chance that still might not happen. So I don't want to even say that it's a done deal because it's not signed over quite yet. Vegas could still back out at any time. And if they back out, right,
They
where does but where does Oakland at? Where do they go from there? Then that means they have to come back here because there's nowhere else. But no, man, I don't see myself jumping allegiance. It sucks. I mean, it's one of those things now that I won't be able to go to A's games like that. You can make a trip down to Vegas
I'm
and
technically
check
close
out the new
now.
stadium. Yeah. They're also talking about doing the bullet train down from Los Angeles to Vegas too.
Elon's been in talks for so long.
Elon must have been talking about that for a minute now. I still got to drive 5 hours up to 5.
I could never see myself being a Giants fan, man, ever. So A's till I die, man.
Yeah.
I don't see the Warriors going anywhere. I think Chase Center is going to be from home. I'm intrigued about my Niners. I'm hearing rumors that they could be out in the next 10 years, which is crazy to me to even think.
But
I think what you mean by that?
They have hella issues going on with the city, man. Just a lot of stuff they've been fighting since they've been getting there. They want to renovate the stadium themselves. And like, you just got this fucking stadium. Now you're trying to add shit to it. And I don't know, man. So we'll see on that. Like I said, maybe in 10 years they might move somewhere. Who knows? But yeah, I couldn't. I don't know, man. I'm an A's fan. I mean, it's unfortunate. Like I said, they're going to leave Oakland. I'm pretty sure you guys are still Raider fans. Maybe the love isn't the same like it used to be.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't see myself being a bandwagon, joining the Giants. I mean, right now they're not even that good themselves. So I don't see that. I don't see that happening, man.
And what about you, C? I mean,
I'm rocking the green and gold, man. Like, this is my favorite. Like, these two colors right here, they represent home. So like that I'm always gonna be rooting for them. I'm always following them.
Does it piss you off when you see other people with A's hats? Because it's a very popular hat, right? Like I remember when I was left home to go to college at over in Pennsylvania. I saw people with the A's hat, and I'm like, "Oh, you from Oakland?" They're like, "What?" They didn't even know what hat they had on.
Wow,
that A is clean, man.
Yeah, it is clean color. So, when the Warriors first left San Francisco, that one hurt. first left Oakland. That one hurt. I think that what's keeping me like kind of locked in is the fact that they still have like the players that were on that Oakland Warriors team, and they do show a lot of love to Oakland still. I think after this generation leaves, I think my allegiance will probably dissipate a little bit. With the Raiders, they have been putting me through so much trauma. I was like, this is it. This is my out. I don't have to be a fan of a team. I played around becoming a Cam Newton Patriots fan for a while.
This guy.
But I think that I came home a couple years ago to get a haircut, emergency haircut from my old barber Slim, and he was like, "So Ox, you still a Raider fan now that they're gone?" And he's a Cowboys guy, and I was like, "No, man, fuck them." I was like, "Fuck the Raiders, they left," And he said, "Motherfucker, you did too. Are we not supposed to like you anymore?" Hey, this dude can win any debate against any. I mean, he put it so eloquently and so quick. Like, he needs to be on the front lines negotiating with Putin for us. Like, he was right. He was like, wow. So he got me back on board. Long story short, right? Like, okay. I think we still have the history, and I can't quit him. I can't quit it. And I can't, like, watching Derek Carr just throw these picks year after year, and now I'm gonna have to watch Jimmy Garoppolo do the same shit. I have every reason to be out, but I'm locked in. I can't quit them.
And you think Derek gonna do anything with the Saints?
Bro, he gonna how funny is it this big ass Christian dude joins the Saints, right? Like Derek Carr is as mediocre. He is what's the dude for the Vikings?
Kirk Cousins?
He's Kirk Cousins. That's all.
Kirk Cousins. And you seen that meme? How
yeah, every
it's just a Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
Look, Derek Carr's problem is like weirdly enough, he's like too confident in himself. And when he makes mistakes, it's like, oh, God wanted that to happen. Well, he's saying in the press conference, I'm like, bro, don't throw. What are you doing? Like, it was fourth down. Why did you not at least give the player a chance? Why did you throw the ball out of bounds? He's like too confident in himself to see his, at least outwardly. I don't know him intimately, at all. I don't know what the coaching rooms are like. But man, after he broke his ankle, I was at that game too. After he broke his ankle, nothing was the same with Derek Carr.
I agree 100%. He was balling before that. He had moxie, he had poise. He was standing in that pocket, sling it, take a hit, get back up. He gave his rookie year. He whooped on the Seahawks. Remember that?
Yes. And then after that, I mean, I blame me and Freddie for that one. We were at that game. I stopped going to games for that reason. I was like, oh, this is my fault. Sorry, City of Oakland. My bad.
You broke his leg?
I broke his leg. So what do I think Derek Carr is going to do in the Saints? I think that they're going to be mediocre as fuck.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know how I feel about. I mean, where are we at with Josh McDaniels?
I mean, I don't think you guys.
I got very little
with him anyways.
What'd you say?
I said you're gonna have to deal with him anyways.
Can't afford to fire him. Huh?
You can't afford. I mean, I think until after this season. I think that's what it is. I think it's gonna be a 2-year thing anyways.
Bring back the racist coach. John Gruden. Bring back John. Say what
we don't need no Gruden or fucking what's his name? Who's the dude that we went to the playoffs with our backup?
Rich Vasikia?
No. The dude,
Rich. You talking about
Del Rio? We don't need no Del Rio.
This boy.
We don't need no no Grudens, man.
Remember when Del Rio was talking about the January 6th?
Just a little dust up.
Just a little dust up.
Boys being boys.
I will say, I think you guys are on the right path, man. I keep saying this. I think, you've been a team always kind of focused on certain things and never the defense. And I think that's been the dilemma for y'all for countless years. And getting Max Crosby, man, I think is really the start. You got a foundation piece. And I think you guys want to keep building on that.
Oh, hopefully that it's almost like
that happens, man.
Khalil Mack. That would have been nice if we kept him.
Bro went all pro at 2 different positions at the same time, bro.
Well, you have Max Crosby.
I'm never going to get over that. I'm never going to get over that.
Now.
Yeah, we gave up. Yeah, we got rid of all pro tight end What's the they keep what they keep calling him the ex addict? What?
Oh, Darren Waller?
Waller. Yo,
That was a good trade though, man. That was a good trade though. You don't think that was a good trade?
No. For a third round pick?
He traded last season for a second round pick.
Look, irregardless, we're getting into
kept him. I like him as long as he's healthy. Like he was nice. He was nice.
So look, this is probably gonna drop. I'll say in a week after we've had the discussion. So give your predictions now. Do the Warriors make it out the first round against the Kings?
Absolutely. The Kings not winning another game.
Wow.
I just want to make it controversial. I'm gonna make it controversial, and I'm a big Warriors fan, man. If I don't see the Warriors play defense because they getting their ass ran down the court, back and forth,
yeah,
then I don't know, man. I feel like this team has kind of just been. They just haven't been like a Warriors team, man. I think a lot has been going on. I don't think we don't know a lot of stuff that's going behind the scenes. We had the punch gate that went. We got rumors of our GM possibly leaving, our coach fighting with the owners also. We got contracts that's about to be coming up real soon, man. And I think it finally caught up to them. I think a lot of shit has finally caught up to them, man, and they haven't been able. Also, just trying to figure out guys' roles too, man, which has been an issue. And I think everything's kind of caught up right now, and they're trying to figure it out. And I don't know if they're going to be able to figure it out. We're going to see.
I'll say this: if we don't make it,
hold up, he didn't answer the question. Do they make it out this round? Put your nuts on the table.
I'm gonna say yeah. I told my brother no. I mean, I don't. I have this thing, man. They can't win on the road, and I don't know what the hell it is.
Fabricated.
How are you the best?
Not this season.
Is it 30 losses? 30 losses on the road?
No. Look, but like I'm saying, like it feels scripted. Like how are you the best home team and the literally worst road team? Like something feels like, all right, let's flip the switch. Or hey, the NBA is asking the Warriors, don't be so dominant this year. Let's give it to another. Like it just something feels like there's like writers at play. Like how did Steph ever miss a shot? He's so.
I'll tell you this one thing though. I was looking at the bracket, man, and if this first game, only his first series with the Kings, man, I think it's just so much. You got Mike Brown, the return of Mike Brown.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, if we beat them, we get to play either the Lakers or Grizzlies.
I know.
Rivalry on both. And then if we get to the Western Conference Final now, I don't know. I'm guessing it's going to be Nuggets against Suns, but I'm like, man, this will be the first time we play KD since he's left.
Come on.
Really, Oakland.
I'm telling you, like, honestly, like the older I get, the more jaded. I used to love sports growing up because it felt like the last pure thing we got in life, you know, because like, how do you predict, aside from horrible referees, how do you predict, like, you know, but like, there's just too many storylines in this season specifically that make me feel like, come on, this I mean, kind of the whole first series with the Clippers and Sun, like every series in the Western Conference Finals has a storyline behind it.
But I'm going with no.
Year for the playoffs.
I just want to say that, John. I'm going with no.
You saying no? They're not going to make it out.
They're not going to make it. I'm going to make it controversial on this show. I'm going to be the one that says no. They're not going to make it.
Put 5 on it.
What you say?
Is this being recorded? Let's put 5 on it.
5. This way.
This whole thing, this whole podcast, was just.
Y'all want to put a three-way 5? Let's put a 3-way 5 on it. I'll send y'all each 5. Then we can do that. Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean, because to me, is it going to Game 7? That's what I want to know.
If it goes to Game 7, we'll lose. If it goes to 6, we'll win. I think I think Warriors winning 6. If it goes to 7, then we probably.
Because I'll tell you this. I don't know if you saw Mike Brown told his team. He said we're most likely going to lose this game, Game 3, because we're not going to get any calls. And they really didn't get anything.
They got no calls.
So that was to me was like, okay. So now, because I feel like Game 4 is more important than Game 3, which I still think it is.
Is Mike Brown the first coach to ever wear Vans on the court as a coach?
I have been there. I miss this guy, man. I wish we still had him, man. It hurts my heart that he left.
Yeah. Hey, but look, man, I know I said we'd stop at the top of the hour. You know, there's you want to plug your podcast and your businesses at all?
So on some real shit podcast hasn't been all we've kind of taken a break, but we have like 3 seasons, so you can
Yeah.
still catch up, listen to
Yo,
some episodes or whatnot.
Kev,
Uh,
and your co-host Kev, G and Kev are basically
yeah, shout out Kev, man.
y'all are basically Northern California versions of Rio and Mike. It's very entertaining. So go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
But
cut
yeah,
you.
we got that. Still got the clothing line, man. All laugh on us actually, man. We changed up, switched up. So laughed on us clothing, man. And then you can find me on IG on Laughs on G. And I'm also a Reiki practitioner doing some spiritual healing out here. So if you ever need some Reiki to restore, rejuvenate or whatnot, hit your boy. I got the super hands, super power hands. And don't worry, I'm not doing anything I shouldn't be doing. So yep.
Why would you even say that?
Cause you have to, man. I'm black.
It's
That's black. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. Being black out here, man, that's a whole nother podcast episode.
yeah, that's a whole nother episode. What the fuck?
Sometimes you gotta do that.
Hey guys, I'm not doing anything wrong, so you can trust me. Like, don't say that. All right,
Hey, edit that out. Nah.
Oh, he did it.
He just
did
dropped
with the
out
quickness. He said, "Peace, man." All right then. Mic drop. That's wild.
Man, yeah, man. So you also just not your dad, obviously, but very proud of like how hard you've worked finishing UCLA a year ago. Like you took the not the easiest road to getting there, but really proud of you. Anything you want to leave with the folks before we sign off?
Man, just Warriors taking it, man. We're not losing no Kings. Come on now. they messed up kicking Draymond out and not taking that game 3. I don't care if it's game 3. We taking game 4. We're taking game 5. We're taking game 6.
Is this Draymond's last season?
If we don't make it out of this, series, which I think we will, but if we don't, it's gonna be big changes, man. It's gonna be big changes. I don't know what, but I think Draymond. That's a hard question, man. I personally, I just can't see him or Clay or Steph in any other uniform. I think he opts in.
I hope we see.
Oh, look who's back. Hey, G.
Do you know the editing I'm gonna have to do now?
My fault, man. That's on me. That was on me, guys. It is. See, I'm all bad luck.
Anyway, last question was Draymond, is he done as a Warrior this season after this season?
He's due. Here's the thing, man. He's due $27 million. He's got a player option. He can opt out at the end of the season. I always felt, man, if they win the championship, he's automatically opted in for the three-peat. It'd be their second chance to try to get it. They didn't get it the last time they had the chance. So, but then again, right, they get put out. Like I said, there's just so much shit going on that I don't know if we really ever had to deal with. Plus, you got Klay Thompson's contract who'll be over in 2024, and I think it's a pick. It's either or. So, I don't know. But then I feel like Draymond just can't get $27 million somewhere else.
That's what
but he probably could get a multi-year deal somewhere else though too. So
I think we're gonna see a Clay, Draymond, and LeBron somewhere. So I don't know where the location will be, but I think we're gonna see those three before the three of them stop playing pro basketball.
Unless Jordan Poole or Wiggins gets traded. Then yeah, you're right. I don't see the main core staying together in the next, let's just say, 2 years. Not at all.
It'll be Steph and Poole who thinks he's Steph. I hope. Yeah. Anyway, that was the last question I said. Anyway, yeah. So we'll see. So 5 from us, all of us around. We're putting it in the pot, and you know that's payday for us. That's easy payday.
I'm gonna throw in one more controversial statement. Jaylen Brown, Warriors.
Okay. Love Jaylen Brown.
Come back to the Bay Area.
Absolutely.
Yep, I think he's gonna be a free agent after this season. I mean, and I think if the Warriors let go of Draymond, maybe do some other moves, man, he should go be the guy to go pick up. They definitely gonna need some defense, and I don't know. I like the fit. Last statement.
Weissman's going to be all pro defense in 3 seasons, and we're going to regret letting go of him so soon.
Bro.
Draymond's gonna be his teammate also.
Yeah, they're going to ship him out to Detroit. All right, y'all. I appreciate your time, guys.
It's good seeing you boys, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. Had a good time. And yeah.
Kind of forever.
You are